Hi friends, welcome to Azure Content. This is part 31 in Mapping Data Flow Scenarios playlist. In this video, we are going to learn how to get cumulative values for consecutive dates using Mapping Data Flow. So let's see our requirement in details. So this is our use case. So the first image is the input data set. So here we have three columns known as meter ID, date and reading. So if you closely observe, we have two set of records. One is having meter ID 555 and the other set of records are having meter ID as 666. Okay. So if we segregate these two set of records, this is how it will look like. Let me show you. So currently the data looks like this. I have opened the Excel sheet in local. So if we segregate it into two parts, let me cut it and paste the data related to meter ID 555 in one place. And let me segregate the other set in other place. Let me cut this set of records and paste it somewhere here so that we can delete this lines. Okay, just formatting it. So we have two set of records. Okay, let me copy the column names as well. Copying it here as well. And let me zoom it a bit so that it will be more clearer. Yeah. So if you closely observe, meter ID 555 is having three records. One is having date equals to 1st of December. Second is having date equals to 2nd of December. But the third one is having date equals to 4th of December, which means data for 3rd of December is missing. So let me go back to the presentation. So what we actually want is in the output dataset, we have the earlier three columns, but in addition to that, we have new set of columns, which is cumulative days and cumulative values. So how this cumulative days has been generated is, let me go back. So here we need to generate cumulative days. So what we want is in cumulative days column, we want the running number to be generated until the dates are consecutive dates. So what it means is, suppose 1st of December is the first day. So I want 1 as the value here. Okay. Similarly, 2nd December is just the consecutive day after 1st of December. So there is no missing days in between 1st and 2nd of December. So I want 2 as the value here. Okay. Now coming to the third record, we have date as 4th of December, which means 3rd of December is missing. So now again the count will be restarting. Okay. So here the running number would be 1. Instead of 3, it will be 1 because there is a missing date here. So the loop will be restarting from this point as there is a missing date here. Okay. So the cumulative days for 4th of December will be 1 for this meter ID. Okay. Now coming to meter ID 666. So similarly, cumulative days for meter ID 666 for 1st of December will be 1. For 2nd of December, it will be 2. Okay. For 3rd of December, it will be 3. For 4th of December, it will be 4. But here, since 5th of December is missing, so the running number will be reset and the loop will end here and it will be restarting here at 6th of December. Okay. So this is how we want the cumulative days column to be generated. Let me go back to presentation. So here in the output, you can see 555 day 1, cumulative days is 1. Okay, now going to this record 555 date, if you see the date, it is 2nd of December. So cumulative date is 2. Now coming to this record 555 4th of December because 3 is missing. So here this cumulative days is restarting as 1. Okay. Now we don't have 555 again. So coming to 666, you can see cumulative day value is 1. Okay, now 2nd of December, which is just consecutive day after 1st of December. So it is 2 here. Now coming to this one, it is 3rd of December, which is just the next day after 2nd of December. So it's 3 here. And on 4th of December, 666 meter ID will hold 4 as the consecutive day. And on 6th of December, since 5 is missing, so it will be restarting as 1. Okay. So here and here the values will be 1, which means it is restarting the loop for this particular meter ID. So this is how we need to generate cumulative days. Now coming to cumulative value, it is nothing but the successive addition of the readings. Okay, let me go to the Excel so that I can make you understand about how this cumulative value would be generated. So here cumulative value will be the next column in both the places. I'm just segregating it so that we can understand in terms of meter IDs what we want in the expected output. Okay, so the cumulative value would be 50 for the first reading. For the second record, since this is a running number, so it will be an addition of both the days. Okay, so this will be 50 plus 50, which is 100. Okay, now coming to this record, since the running number is reset and we have cumulative day as 1, so it will be 50 again. Okay, so this is how we want the cumulative value to be generated. Now you can also understand it as cumulative day into, and that means multiplied by reading. This will give us cumulative value. Okay, so 50 into 2 will be 100, 50 into 1 will be 50. Okay, so this is how cumulative value we can generate. Now coming to 666 meter ID, again cumulative value would be 50 for the first day. Since this is running number till 4, so we can either multiply this record with this record so that it will give us the cumulative value. So for the second day it will be 100, for third day it will be 150, for fourth day it will be 200, but for the fifth day, since 5th of December record is missing and the value has been reset for cumulative days, so cumulative value would be 50 again. Okay, so let me go to presentation so that you can understand. So you can see 555 first cumulative value is 50. Then let me circle this with another number. So 555 second day is 100 and third day it is 50 again, because this is not a running date, which means it is not the consecutive date. Second day was 2nd of December, third day is 4th of December. So it has been reset and we get 50 as the cumulative value. Okay. Similarly, for 666, you can see the first cumulative value is 50. Okay. Now the next record is this one, which is the running record. So it has value as 100. Third record is this one. It is also running. So it's 150. Fourth record is also running, so it is 200, but fifth record is reset, so it is 50 again. Okay, because there is a missing date here. So this is what our requirement is. So let's see how to achieve this using mapping data flow. So let me go to ADF portal and let me show you the CSV file first. So you can see we have running number.csv in Anu demo container. So this is our source file. So we will create dataset, source dataset on top of this file. So let me go to ADF portal and let me start creating the data flow. So I have the data flow debug as on so that we can preview the data during the creation of data flow. So let me add the source dataset, and here let me create the new dataset pointing to ADLS Gen 2, and our source file is in CSV format, and I'm selecting the existing linked service and I'm navigating to Anu demo container. So let me select that and let me select running number.csv file. And the first row is header. As you can see, we have the column names present here. So I'm selecting this and let me import schema and click on OK. Yeah, so our dataset is ready. Let me go to data preview and hit on refresh. So let's wait for the data to be fetched. Yeah, so the data appeared. So this is the same data that we saw in the presentation as the input data set. Now, what we will do is, let me go to the Excel. So our challenge is to get this cumulative days, because once we get cumulative days, achieving cumulative value is very easy because we just need to multiply these two, or we can just sum based on these readings and meter ID. So our target is to write a logic to get this cumulative days first. Okay. So to achieve this, first we want to know if the dates are consecutive or not. Okay. So suppose we want to add a additional column. say flag that will have value as 1 and 0. If the dates are consecutive, then this flag would be 0. So we will write some logic to determine the value for this column. So we want this flag to be 0 wherever the dates are consecutive. So for 2nd of December, before this the date was 1st of December. So this was having consecutive date. So this will be 0, and apart from that all the flag will be 1, right? So here and here it will be 1. And for meter ID 666 also, let me just add it, flag, and here it will be 0 for 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so let me write 0, 0 and 0. Apart from this it will be 1. Okay, so we have to write some logic to achieve this particular column called flag. So let me go back to data flow. So basically our logic should be like this. If we add 1 to the previous date of this particular record, that means if we add 1 to 1st of December, then it should be equal to the current record. If it matches, then turn the flag to 0. Suppose if we take this example as an example, and if we add 1 to the previous record, then the date would be coming as 3rd of December, and it is not matching the current date which is there in this record. So the flag would be 1. So the only place where flag would be turning 0 and which is meeting this condition would be this 2nd of December in meter ID 555. Similarly, coming to meter ID 666, if you see 2nd of December will be having flag equals to 0, because if we add 1 to 1st of December, it will be equal to 2nd of December, which is the next record. So let's try to achieve this. Let me go back. So here I'm going to add something called Windows transformation, which is equivalent to row number function of SQL Server. So here in the over tab, we have to select the column on top of which we are going to perform the group by. So you can see we are grouping the records based on meter ID, right? If you see the Excel sheet, we have segregated the records. That is, we are grouping these records based on meter IDs. So let me select meter ID to group by. And then in the sort tab, let me select dates so that it will be in ascending order of the dates. Okay. So now in the range by, let me leave it as it is. And in the Windows column, let me try to generate this flag column. Okay. So name of the column, I will keep it as flag. And in the expression, we will write the logic to determine these values. Okay. That we just talked about. So as we discussed, we have to compare the current record with the previous record of this date column to generate this flag. Okay. So there is something called lag function here, which can be only used in the Windows transformation. How did I get to know this? If I cancel this and if I add a derived column transformation and if I try to use lag function here, it says this function is only available in Windows transformation. Okay. So we cannot use lag function in any other transformation. So let me delete this. And here in the expression, let me see the description of this lag function. So what it does is it gets the value of the first parameter evaluated n rows before the current rows. Okay. So let me read through the description. So lag function gets the value of the first parameter, which means it gets the value of this particular column evaluated n rows before the current row. And what is n row? It is the second parameter which we have to state here. Second parameter is the number of rows to look back. Okay, so if I write date column and if I give comma 1, then it means it will try to look for the record just before this particular record. Okay, so for the first record, it will try to look just above this record. Okay, so let me read further. So it says, if there are not as many rows, a value of null is returned unless a default value is specified. Okay. So if there are no records previous to this record, then the value of null will be returned for this particular record. So if we state lag of date comma 1, then it will give us the return value of previous date. So for this particular row, it will give this as the value out of lag of date. Okay. Similarly, for 4th of December, it will give 2nd of December as the value of lag of this particular date column. Now, what happens to the first record? Because there is no other record before the first record, then what will be the return value here? Let me read through further. So it says, if there are not as many rows, a value of null is returned unless a default value is specified. Okay. So here it will return null. Okay. So let me make use of this function and let me show you practically. So lag of date, what it will give, let me hit on save and finish and let me preview the data. So you can see this flag column has been generated, and if you compare this record date column and flag column, so you can see before this record there is no other record, so it is giving this as null. For second record, you can see 1st of December was the previous value, so it is returning 1st of December as the corresponding value for 2nd of December. Similarly, coming to 4th of December, the previous value was 2nd of December, so it is returning 2nd of December here. Now coming to this record, before this record we have 4th of December, it would have returned 4th of December here, but since we have grouped by using this meter ID, so it is returning null here. So this is another group. So in this group, this is the first record, so it is returning null here. Similarly, for this record, this is the previous record, so it is returning 1st of December here, and so on. Okay. So this is about lag function. So lag function is properly returning us the previous record. Now our job is to check if we add 1 to the date previous to a particular date, then the same date is appearing or not. Okay. If the same date is appearing, we want the flag to be turned as 0. So let me write down this expression as, we will use if condition. So there is something called IIF, under which you can write the if expression. So you can write condition here and then resulting true expression and false expression. Okay. So if lag of date plus 1, so here since we are adding on top of date, so we cannot use add function, we need to use add of days. Okay. So I'm going to use add of days. If we add 1 to this value, and if it equals to the same date, which means if it equals to the date value, then I want the flag to be turned as 0, else turn it as 1. Okay. So this is our logic, but it's throwing some error. It says column should be wrapped with window or aggregate function. So here in first half of this expression, we are using lag function, which is a aggregate function. Okay. But in the second half, where we are trying to equate it, here we are not using any aggregate function. So here also we need to use some window function or aggregate function. So if we see the lag function description again, so by default, the value of the second parameter is 1. Okay. So you can see we have to specify the number of rows which we need to look back. So by default the value is 1, so that's why it is giving us the just previous record here, and we have not even specified the second argument here. So lag of date and lag of date comma 1 is the same thing. Okay, so I just did not specify 1 here, but since we have to use aggregate function here, so what I'm going to do is, here I'm going to use lag function and we will put the second argument as 0. So it will look for the same record instead of looking back to the previous records, since we have specified 0 as the second argument. So it's throwing another warning. Let me hover on this. So it says add days expects date time type of argument. So let me typecast this date so that it will explicitly convert the date type into date. So to do that, let me use toDate function. So it will convert the string into date format. So we have to specify the format here. So let me write toDate here, and we have to specify the format here. Okay. So since our dates are in the format of dd mm yyyy, so let me write dd mm hyphen yyyy. Okay. Let me copy this And similarly, here also we will use toDate function to explicitly convert string into date. And here, let me paste that format. And you can see the warning has been disappeared. And let me hit on save and finish. Let me go to data preview. Now, if I hit on refresh, this flag should be turned into 1 and 0. So wherever the previous record is just the immediate previous date, those records should be turned as flag equals to 0 and the other records should be turned as 1. Okay, so let me hit on refresh and let's wait for the data. Yeah, so the data has appeared. So you can see flag has been turned to 0 on 2nd of December because the previous record was immediate previous date, which is 1st of December. Now it is not the same case here because one date is missing here. Okay, similarly, you can see all these dates. 2nd of December is having previous date as 1st of December, so flag is 0. 3rd of December is having previous date as 2nd of December, so it's 0 in this case. Say 4th of December is having previous date as 3rd of December, so it's 0 here. But in case of 6th of December, it's 1, and also in case of 1st of December, it is 1 because there was no previous record for this particular date. Okay, so now let me go back to the Excels to understand what we need to do next. Okay, so till this point we have achieved. Let me cut it and paste it here. So now what we want is, we want to create a column based on which we can generate this cumulative days column. Okay, this is our ultimate target. Okay, so let me highlight these two. This is our ultimate column that we want to achieve. Okay, so we need this new column so that we can be able to group the records based on this flag to achieve this cumulative days. Okay, so we will name this column as group, and our records would be in such a way that these two records will be having same values and this record would be having different value. Okay, so if we will be able to generate this column, then you see this is one group and this is another group for meter 555. Similarly, for meter ID 666, the records would be like this. These will be in similar group and this will be in different group. So if we will be able to get this, we can easily get the cumulative days because it based on this grouping, it is nothing but the row number or the sequence. So let me go back to the data flow and let me try to create this column. So if you closely observe, what we are trying to achieve in this group column is nothing but the successive addition. Okay, you can see the first column is 1, which is similar to the flag value. Second value is 1, which is nothing but 1 plus 0. Okay, third value is 2, which is nothing but 1 plus 0 plus 1. Okay, similarly here 1 is coming as it is, then this is 1 plus 0 is 1 again, and 1 plus 0 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 1. Okay, so till this point the group column is having 1. Okay, so after that if you add 1 plus all zeros plus 1, it will give 2. Okay, which is nothing but the corresponding value for last record. Okay, so this can be achieved using some function in window transformation. So let me try to add another window transformation to generate this group column. Okay, so again I am going to group by using meter ID, and I am going to sort using date column, and range by I am going to leave as it is, and in the Windows column I am going to create this column called group. So here we can make use of sum function. So let me read through this. So it gets the aggregate sum of a numeric column. So basically it gets the successive addition of all the previous values of that column. Okay, so let me make use of sum column on top of this flag, right, on top of flag column. So let me go to input schema and let me select flag for generating group column. Okay, let me hit on save and finish and let me preview the data. So let's wait for the data to be fetched. Yeah, so you can see group column has been generated, which is nothing but the addition of all the previous records of this flag column based on this meter ID. Okay, so you can see the records here. So now our job is almost done. we have created this group column based on which we will be able to group by the records along with the meter ID. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, we will be able to get this cumulative days values based on the grouping between meter ID and group. So let me copy this and let me copy this group values as well. And now if you see, this is one group and this is another group. So if we make use of row number function or count function, then it will be generating running number based on this grouping. Okay, so this is one group, that means one partition, then 1 2 will be the value for this if we give row number function, and this is another group, so again this value will be reset. Okay, similarly let me copy this meter ID values and let me copy this group values so that you can see that there are two groups again. This is one group and this is another group. So the values here would be generated as running number. For one group it will be 1 2 3 4, and for the other group it will be 1 again. Okay, so this is what we are trying to achieve. So this is nothing but the cumulative days. Okay, let me go back and here let me try to use another window transformation, and this time we will be grouping based on meter ID as well as group column. Okay, and sorting we will be doing based on date column. Range by will be as it is, and in Windows column we will be creating cumulative days column, which is nothing but row number function. Okay, either we can use row number function or we can give count function. So let me hit on save and finish, and let's preview the data now. So let's wait for the data to be appeared. Yeah, so the data is visible. So you can see cumulative days column has been generated with the help of row number function. We could also have used count function. So now we need to generate cumulative values as is present here. Okay. So to do that, what we can do is, in this Windows column itself, we can add another column as cumulative value. Okay. So cumulative value is nothing but the sum of readings based on the grouping of meter ID and the group column. Okay. So since we have already grouped meter ID and group column, so here we just need to sum the reading column. Okay. So if I do that, so here it says sum expects number type of argument. As our data source is CSV, reading column is string type of column. Okay, as you can see here. So what we can do is we can add a cast transformation anywhere in between so that it will convert the reading column into numeric kind. So let me add integer, and now let me go back, and here you can see the error has been gone. So let me refresh data preview, and let's wait to see if the new column has been generated or not. So you can see cumulative value column has been newly generated, which is nothing but the successive addition of reading column for all the consecutive days. So you can see 1st and 2nd December are consecutive. So reading column is 50 for the 1st December, then 2nd December it is 100, then again the chain is breaking here, so it is again 50 here in the cumulative value. For 666, you can see it's 50, 100, 150, 200. Till this point it is, let me highlight it. So you can see till this point it is consecutive dates. So cumulative values are coming as the successive addition of reading column. Okay, and since the chain is breaking here, since the 5th of December is missing, so it is reset here. Okay, so this is what we wanted to achieve. Now we could also have achieved it using multiplication of cumulative days with reading column, as you can see. Okay, this is nothing but multiplication of these two columns. Okay, so to do that we could have used derive column transformation, because in Windows transformation we can only use aggregate function. Okay, so let me go back. So what I'm trying to say is, let me delete this and let me add a derive column transformation, and here I can add cumulative value, and in the expression I can make use of multiply function, multiply two columns that are reading and cumulative days. Okay, and let me hit on data preview. So let's wait for the data to be fetched. Yeah, so the data is visible. So you can see cumulative value is generating the same data as expected. So earlier we achieved the same thing in Windows transformation with the help of some function on top of cumulative days. But now we used multiply function in derived column transformation to get the cumulative values. So if I compare this with the expected result, so let me check. So you can see we have 3 records for meter ID 555. Okay, so first one is this one, then this and this. So the cumulative values for these 3 records are 50, 100 and 50 respectively. So if I compare it with the values that we are getting, so you can see the top 3 records are for meter ID 555, which is having cumulative value as 50, 100 and 50, which is the expected result. Now for meter ID 666, what we are expecting is 50, 100, 150, 200 and then 50 again. So what we are getting is 50, 100, 150, 200 and 50 again. So now the only thing that is remaining is to sort it based on date as well. Okay, to get the data in proper order as expected result. Okay, since we have currently sorted only by meter ID, so we are getting meter ID 555 first and then 666 later. Okay, it is not based on date values. So we will sort it, and also we don't require these intermediate columns that we created to achieve the required columns. So we will remove this using select transformation. So let me do that. So first of all, let me use select transformation to deselect flag and group columns. So let me select this and delete it, and let's preview the data. So let's wait for the data to appear. Yeah, so you can see we just landed up with having 5 columns, which are the expected columns: meter ID, date, reading, cumulative days and cumulative value. Meter ID, date, reading, cumulative days and cumulative value. Okay, now what we want to do is we want to sort the data as well. So to do that, let me use sort transformation and let me sort by date as well as meter ID. So let me select both the columns, and now let me preview the data. So let's wait for the data to be fetched, and then we will be comparing each and every record is coming as expected or not. So let's go back. Yeah, so the data has appeared. So you can see the records has been sorted by date as well. Okay, and it is coming as expected. So now if we compare this output with the expected result, you can see it is completely matching. So you can see meter ID 555 is having 3 records, which is as expected. Okay, it is coming in between, and then you can see the cumulative values for those are 50, 100 and 50. Okay, which is as expected, 50, 100 and 50. Okay, and sorting of record is also coming as similar. Okay, and for 666 you can see, and for meter ID 666 the value which we are getting is 50, 100, 150, 200 and 50 again, because there is a missing date here. Okay, so you can see the value which was expected is 50, 100, 150, 200 and 50 again. So if you want to load this data into a CSV file, you can use sync transformation to do that. Okay, so that's it for this video guys. I hope you like the content. Please hit on like button and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it yet. Thank you.